When life speaks, are you listening? Have you ever had a moment that felt too perfect to be a coincidence? You think of someone and they text you. You hear the exact song you needed, at the exact moment you needed it. You meet a stranger who says the one thing you've been silently searching for. Most of us brush these off. We call them weird, random, lucky. But what if they're not random at all? What if life is speaking to you gently, clearly, consistently through synchronicity? In America, we grow up being told to be practical, to think in straight lines. We're taught to chase certainty, not meaning, to follow the rules, not the signals. We go to school, get jobs, check boxes while our inner compass grows silent. But deep down, we feel it. We know there's more. We've just forgotten how to notice. Science is catching up. The reticular activating system RAS filters what you see based on what you believe. What you focus on expands. What you expect, you attract. And vibration? That's not just spiritual talk. Your emotional frequency literally tunes your perception. When you raise a true gratitude, presence, element, you see more. You feel more. Synchronicities become the new normal. This isn't magic. It's awareness. It's living with your eyes open, your heart awake, and your mind in tune. It's shifting from survival mode to soul mode. So let me ask you, what if those signs you've been ignoring were actually the roadmap? What if the universe has always been on your side waiting for you to notice? Let's explore how synchronicity works, why it matters, and how you can start living in alignment with it today. 1. Reality isn't just happening to you. Most of us were taught that life is a straight line. Cause, then effect. Do this, get that. Work hard, earn success. Follow the rules, and things will make sense. But what if life doesn't work like that? What if reality isn't a cold machine, but a living, intelligent system that responds to you? I used to think everything was just coincidence, a lucky break, a weird moment, a random event. But the more I paid attention, the more I realized life was speaking, not in words, but in timing, in feelings, in signs I couldn't explain, but couldn't ignore. Science tells us that our brain filters the world through the reticular activating system. RAS decides what we notice and what we ignore. When you buy a red car, you start seeing red cars everywhere. They were always there. You just weren't tuned in. Now apply that to your thoughts, your beliefs, your emotions. What if reality works the same way? What you expect, you begin to see. What you fear, you unconsciously attract. What you believe becomes your experience. And here's the deeper truth. Your frequency or emotional vibration sets the tone for what life reflects back to you. Gratitude, presence, curiosity, joy, these are high frequencies. Fear, shame, numbness, these are low ones. And the universe, it echoes you. Not just your words, not just your plans. It echoes your energy. This is why synchronicities feel so personal. They match your vibration. They reflect your inner world. Think of them as cosmic feedback, not just moments of wonder but signals that you're aligned, or signals that it's time to shift. The more I leaned into this, the more it opened up. A friend would call when I needed courage. A stranger would mention the exact thing I'd been wrestling with. A door would open right when I was about to give up. At first, I doubted. I wanted logic, proof, but proof came through experience. And the more I trusted, the more real it became. The more I aligned my inner world, me thoughts, feelings, intentions, more life responded. This isn't about superstition. It's about attention. It's about living awake. It's about understanding that reality doesn't just happen to you, you're co-creating it. So stop waiting for life to make perfect sense. Start listening. Start noticing. Start trusting the nudges. When something feels meaningful, it probably is. And when a pattern keeps showing up, it's not an accident, it's an invitation. You were never meant to sleepwalk through life. You were meant to feel it, to shape it, to respond to it. Because life is always speaking. The question is, are you listening? And once you stop seeing life as random, those strange moments start to look a lot more like messages. 2. The pattern behind coincidence. Some things in life just feel too perfect to ignore. You think of someone and they appear. You wonder about a decision and a message arrives, clear as day. Not planned, not forced, but timed with uncanny precision. We call them coincidences. We say, "That's weird," or "What are the odds?" But deep down, something stirs, because part of you knows it's not random. It never was. Carl Jung called this synchronicity, meaningful coincidences without logical connection, yet full of personal significance. They show up when something inside you aligns with something outside of you. Not chance, not luck, but connection. We've just been trained to miss it. Our culture worships logic. We're told to dismiss what we can't explain. We're told that if it can't be measured, it doesn't matter. But the most important things, love, intuition, inner truth, can't be measured either. As kids, we feel more. We notice more. We sense when something is about to happen, but we're told to ignore it. Told it's just imagination. So we trade magic for math, trade wonder for facts, trade instinct for instruction. But what if the world is full of signals waiting for you to remember how to read them? Your subconscious picks up patterns long before your mind catches on. Your energized frequency you carry acts like a magnet. When you're aligned inside, life outside starts to echo that back. Moments link up, people show up, paths reveal themselves. It's not luck, it's resonance. The brain's reticular activating system RAS filters what you notice. If you believe life is meaningless, that's what you'll see. But if you believe it's connected, intelligent, elevator reality shifts. You begin to notice the nudges. You begin to follow the thread. And the more you trust it, the clearer it gets. Not because life changed, but because you did. You raised your awareness. You adjusted your lens. You tuned in. Synchronicities aren't just pretty moments. They're messages. They're markers. They're your deeper self and the universe having a conversation. So next time something clicks into place, stop. Notice. Reflect. What were you thinking? What were you feeling? What were you asking Mabe without even realizing it? There's a pattern behind the noise. There's a rhythm beneath the chaos. And when you start to see it, you stop feeling lost. You start feeling guided. Synchronicities aren't proof of anything, but they point. They whisper. They open a door. All you have to do is walk through it. But if the signs are everywhere, why do so many of us miss them? The answer lies in how we've been taught to tune them out. 3. Relearning what we were taught to forget. From the moment we're born, we start forgetting. Not because we want to, but because we're taught to. We're taught that the world is made of facts, that truth lives in numbers, that only what you can prove is real. We're told to sit still, to color inside the lines, to ignore that strange feeling in our gut. As kids, we know things before we can explain them. We sense energy. We feel when something's off. We spot patterns no one else sees. But the moment we try to speak it, we're told it's just our imagination. So we stop trusting our intuition. We stop listening to the quiet knowing. We trade wonder for certainty, magic for logic, awareness for performance. School teaches us how to memorize, not how to sense. We get rewarded for right answers, not for asking deeper questions. No one tells us how to follow a hunch. No one teaches us what synchronicity is. No one explains that when life speaks, it doesn't use words, it uses timing. So we grow up smart, but disconnected. Efficient, but unfulfilled. Productive, but numb. But somewhere inside, that original awareness still lives. It whispers when we're quiet. It nudges when we pause. And when we start listening again, life starts speaking louder. Synchronicities start showing up, not because they weren't there before, but because now we see them. Now we're paying attention. Science says the reticular activating system controls what enters your awareness. If you're trained to dismiss intuition, you won't see the signs. But if you believe the universe communicates through symbols, nudges, patterns, your RAS will begin filtering the world differently. You'll notice the perfect book that lands in your hands, the right person who calls at the right time, the song that answers the question you were too afraid to ask out loud. These moments aren't random. They're reflections. Reflections of an inner world waking back up. It's time to unlearn what kept you blind. It's time to reclaim the part of you that always knew how to listen. No more silencing your gut. No more brushing off the chills down your spine. No more ignoring the way your heart leaps when something just feels right. You weren't meant to fit into a system that numbs your senses. You were meant to feel life deeply, to move with it, to respond to it. The world isn't cold and mechanical. It's alive, responsive, intelligent. And when you stop seeing yourself as separate from it, everything shifts. The signs start making sense. The patterns begin to emerge. And you remember, you've known the way all along. Even so, your mind is more powerful than you think because it doesn't just observe reality. It filters and creates it. 4. Your mind shapes what you see. We were taught that the mind is a camera always recording, always observing. But that's not true. The mind doesn't just take in reality. It filters it. It shapes it. It decides what matters and what doesn't even before you're aware of it. There's a system in your brain called the reticular activating system. It's always working, always scanning, always deciding what to let through the gate of your awareness. And it listens closely to what you care about, what you believe, what you expect. If you believe the world is chaotic, full of noise and randomness, will prove you right. If you believe life is meaningful, alive, and interconnected, will show you exactly that. It's not magic. It's biology meeting belief. It's science meeting soul. Have you ever bought a car and suddenly you see it everywhere? That's not a sign the car world exploded. It's a sign your focus shifted. Your RAS updated the filter. Now it sees what it once ignored. This happens with everything. With ideas, with emotions, with patterns. That's why the more you believe in synchronicity, the more it seems to appear. It's not because you're making it up. It's because you're finally noticing what was always there. And it goes deeper. Your mind responds to your frequency. Your energy shifts your perception. When you're in a high state, calm, grateful, present, you attract more clarity. You're open, receptive, aware. When you're anxious, numb, or distracted, life feels random, disconnected, flat. So the question becomes, what are you tuning into? What station is your mind playing on loop? Because your reality will echo it. I've lived both ways. I've walked through days where nothing seemed to line up, where everything felt out of sync. But I've also lived in flow when every moment felt guided, when I noticed signs in small things. And the difference wasn't the world. It was me, my state, my focus, my willingness to see. We all want life to give us clear answers, but often the universe speaks in symbols, in subtle alignment, in nudges that make no sense until they do. And if you want to hear it, you have to tune in, tune your energy, tune your mind, tune your attention, because what you're looking for is often looking for you. And once you believe that's possible, the entire landscape of your life begins to shift. Not because life changed, but because you did. And when your inner world, both conscious and unconscious, starts to align, reality begins to mirror it back. 5. Synchronicity starts within. Some people seem to move through life with ease. Doors open for them. Answers arrive when they need them. The right people, the right timing, the right message again and again. It's not luck, it's alignment. Their outer world reflects their inner world. Their thoughts, beliefs, and emotions are in sync. Their conscious desires match their subconscious patterns. And the result? Synchronicities, clear and deeply personal. Your subconscious is always working. It scans for patterns. It connects dots. It listens to what you truly want, even if you don't say it out loud. Set an intention and your subconscious begins to track it. Not just mentally, but energetically. You start to notice things. You start to sense timing. You feel guided, even when you don't know why. This is the power of frequency. What you feel consistently becomes what you attract. Your vibration, your emotional tone pulls people, ideas, and opportunities toward you. Gratitude brings more to be grateful for. Clarity brings more clarity. Confusion, it brings noise. What's happening around you is often a mirror of what's happening within. When I first started journaling my inner thoughts, I saw a pattern. The more I got honest with myself, the more coincidences appeared. The more I trusted my gut, the more life seemed to respond. It wasn't always dramatic. Sometimes it was subtly feeling, a phrase, a chance encounter. But the message was clear: when I'm aligned, I'm guided. This is how synchronicities work, not as random blessings, but as reflections of inner clarity. They match your readiness. They match your focus. They match your willingness to see. People who experience frequent synchronicities aren't special. They're tuned in. They've trained themselves to pay attention, to live with awareness, to follow what feels meaningful even if it doesn't make logical sense at first. You can do the same. Start by asking yourself, what am I projecting into the world? What am I carrying beneath the surface? Do my thoughts align with my actions? Do my desires match my emotional state? Because when the conscious and subconscious agree, reality bends, things click, life starts responding not to who you pretend to be, but to who you truly are. So tune your energy, be honest with your inner world, live in coherence, and then watch. Watch how the world changes. Watch how signs begin to follow you. Watch how everything aligns not by chance, but by resonance. Synchronicities are not just signs, they are mirrors. And when you shift your inner world, the outer world shifts with you. That's when synchronicities become more than signs, they become direction, feedback, and guidance. 6. Signs are guidance, not accidents. Synchronicities don't just surprise us, they guide us. They're not just feel-good moments. They're directional. They carry meaning. They point the way. Sometimes they confirm you're on the right path. Sometimes they nudge you toward a better one. Sometimes they stop you before you go too far in the wrong direction. They're feedback, real-time communication between you and life itself. Not in words but in timing, in flow, in alignment. You might be asking yourself, how do I know if it's a sign or just a coincidence? The answer is simple. You feel it, in your body, in your heart, in that quiet place that logic can't touch. I remember a time when I was struggling with a big decision, uncertain, conflicted. Then, out of nowhere, I saw the same phrase on a billboard, a book, and a stranger's t-shirt on the same day. Same words, same message. It wasn't rational, but it felt right. It felt like a gentle nudge saying, you already know. The more I started listening to those nudges, the more clear life became. Less guessing, more flowing. Because synchronicities work like GPS. Not always loud, not always obvious, but always there if you're tuned in. The key is presence. You can't recognize signs when you're distracted. You can't follow guidance when you don't slow down enough to hear it. That's where practices like meditation, journaling, and breathwork help. They don't just relax in. They lower the noise so the signal can come through. Your reticular activating system RAS also plays a role here. When you believe life is random, your mind filters out patterns. But when you believe life is meaningful, your RAS opens the door to possibility. You start noticing the little things. The way someone says exactly what you needed to hear. The way one moment connects to another, like puzzle pieces falling into place. The more aligned your energy, the clearer the signs. When your emotions, thoughts, and actions match, synchronicities multiply. Not because you're lucky, but because you're living in sync with your deeper truth. So when you see a sign, pause. Don't brush it off. Ask yourself, what was I just thinking about? What decision am I facing? What direction does this point me toward? Trust your first instinct, even if it doesn't make sense yet. Especially then, because signs don't speak to your logic. They speak to your soul. And if you're willing to listen, they'll take you exactly where you need to go. And the more you follow that guidance, the more life starts to feel like a conversation you were born to be part of. Choose to see differently. Life is always communicating, not with noise, but with nuance, not with control, but with connection. And the more awake you are, the more clearly you hear it. Synchronicities aren't rare. They're not reserved for the spiritual or the lucky. They're happening around all of us, all the time. But you have to choose to see. You have to slow down enough to feel. You have to believe that meaning exists even when logic can't explain it. Your mind isn't a passive recorder. It's a filter, a projector, a creator. Your beliefs shape what you notice. Your energy shapes what you attract. Your vibration, the emotional tone you live in tunes you to certain experiences. When your inner world is aligned, the outer world responds. When your intention is clear, the path becomes clearer. When you trust the signs, you find your rhythm. You stop forcing. You start flowing. You stop surviving. You start creating. So take the signs seriously. Track the moments that feel too precise to ignore. Write them down. Reflect on them. Use them. Let synchronicity become your compass. Let intuition become your language. Let presence become your power. Because the truth is simple. You are not separate from life. You are part of it. And life, when you truly listen, will always meet you where you are. All it asks is that you meet it, too. Open, aligned, ready to receive.